Hey guys, Mustang here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to talk about the part 2 banners that should be upcoming within the next week, and talk about what the lineups are going to be, which units are going to be available on this banner, because the way that they do the summon format now with the Dokkan X Carnival, it allows us to essentially know. When it comes to the Dokkan Fest banner, I think we are basically at this point, we know every single unit on the banner for the part 2, aside from one, I guess, which is still a mystery, because the way these anniversary and worldwide celebration units work when they come back on these banners is every single one of these Dokkan Fest LRs on this part 1 banner, they're all dual Dokkan Fests. So obviously it's very clear, like the way they do this now is the other banner is going to have the other dual Dokkan Fest that this unit released with. And even back when, you know, both the Dokkan Fest banners were in part 1 and then we had a yellow coin or a carnival banner in part 2, this is still how they would do this, right? Where they would split the units between the two different banners. And so basically from looking at this banner, we already know what the lineup is going to be for part 2. The only mystery spot, like I said, is this first slot on the banner here where the STR Hercule is, who of course is the banner unit for the Vegito. We do not know who the banner unit is going to be for the Gogeta banner. And the interesting thing is, when we looked at the roadmap and we see the spots, like the theory that the large spaces were for new characters and the small spaces were for EZAs, still seems to hold true with everything that's been revealed so far, which means the only slot free for a new character is Dragon Ball Super, which means that in theory then Gogeta's side banner unit is going to be a character from Dragon Ball Super. So that could be Dragon Ball Super Gogeta, it could be Whis from Dragon Ball, but it would just be weird. I don't know who's going to best fit with a Dokkan Fest Z Gogeta. It's probably just like a base Super Gogeta, or like Dragon Ball Super Vegeta, did I say Super Vegeta? Super Gogeta, like Dragon Ball Super Gogeta, base one, or like a Dragon Ball Super Veku or something. Because it'll be interesting to see, because obviously characters like Pikkon, the actual Veku from the Janemba movie, like they would all be Z Movies characters, and there are no slots free for them. So be interesting to see who that's going to be. Obviously the second slot is going to be the Gogeta. We know that it starts off as Vegeta first, who then exchanges, so the SSR will be a Vegeta, and then when we move on from there, we know all of these units in order because they are the dual Dokkan Fests that they released with, right? So physical trio slot is going to be taken up by Int Broly, the Broly slot will be taken up by STR Beast, the AGL Blue Boys taken up by Tech Zamasu, the 8-year duo for the Buu duo obviously replaced with the GT duo, the Super Saiyan 4s from year 7 will be replaced by the Gods from year 7, Namek Goku of course replaced with Full Power Frieza, they both got their EZA upcoming, Int Blue Evolution Vegeta will be replaced with AGL UI Goku, SCR Goku Vegeta replaced with physical Bootanks, and then when it comes to the two SRs, I mean, they gave us SRs that you can essentially feed in for a little bit of chance to raise the super attack, so I assume that the SRs on the banner will be a Vegeta and then whoever the banner unit is, if they have an SR, otherwise it's just going to end up being one of the other random characters on the banner. So if we take a closer look at the lineup, obviously Int Broly is still a very, very good unit. He released during the worldwide celebration, so this will be his first time returning on a banner. I know a lot of people, myself included, don't actually have Broly, so I'm very much looking forward to this banner so I can get a copy of him. Obviously, even if I don't get him with the summons, I've got a bunch of red coins saved up. His team is very, very good. Having two Brolys and having the domain be able to last for twice as long. Broly is very, very good when the domain is active. He's still a great unit. His team was really good in that new difficult event with the formidable foes. So this guy's definitely going to be a top pickup for a lot of people. I'm sure many people very much looking forward to him being back on a banner for the first time. Beast Gohan is obviously still very good as well. He is of course a year old now, as he was the 9th anniversary headliner, but when he came out he was absolutely hands down the best unit in the game, and he still is very good. Even on those difficult, that new difficult event, he can be very good, especially because it's quite short. And so he gets the ability to use his active skill like multiple times. And so he's just still a very, very strong character. He's on the 220 lead for the new Vegito. So if he's on the 220 lead for any of the other part 2 characters, that gives him even more flexibility. So he's still going to be a solid unit for a very long time. so he's a worthwhile pickup as well. Then as we move on from there, we've got Texamasu. Obviously, this guy's aged, you know, quite a bit at this point. To be fair, I guess in the new short event, like he does have 80% damage reduction on the first turn. So, and he has 60% for 4 turns. So, I mean, in the short event, he could be, I guess, runnable after supering maybe, but obviously not the main unit that you'd be going for. The GT duo, again, you can still kind of get away with some shenanigans with them with their standby, giving everyone a massive buff, then they die, drop the spirit bomb, do some free damage. Like, they can be interesting, but they obviously can be a bit of a liability. And then we got the gods, of course, as of now, outdated at this point, but hopefully going to be getting their EZA before the anniversary is over. So if you don't have all the copies of them, then they could be quite useful to get them on this banner. Full Power Freezer. Again, like with the Namek Goku, we know their EZA is upcoming soon. The community not particularly happy with the EZA for these guys. I'm going to talk about that in the later video that goes up today as well. So keep an eye out for that. And let me know your thoughts on the Namek Goku and Frieza EZAs over on that video when it drops. UI Goku, obviously, he's still very good with his EZA. He can get caught, absolutely, after turn 1. But having that perfect, like, 100% dodge on turn 1 can make him age very, very well for short events. And then we have the Bootanks. He's kind of outdated. I mean, the Martian Power team is very strong now, especially if you're running like the Demonic Power version with double Glorio leads. But this guy starts to look like the worst unit on the team, as some of these other better Boo units have gotten ECAs and everything. So that's the lineup for the Dokkan Fest banner. Apart from the 2 SRs and the banner unit that we don't know, because these are the counterparts to the other dual Dokkan Fests, we know basically 100% that this is what the banner lineup is going to be for the Part 2 banner, and then obviously plus the mystery banner unit and the new Gogeta, who my guess is that he's going to be AGL. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. But then, of course, we move on to the other banner, and this is the one where we kind of have a bit more speculation, although there are still some pairings on here, but there's a couple of picks, especially as we get towards the end, that will be a little bit more tricky. So obviously we're going to get 2 new Carnival LRs, which is going to be the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and then the Reversible Exchange Frieza and Goku. Then we have the Gohan from the Worldwide Celebration, Family Kamehameha. So of course he has the pairing with the Tech Broly. So Tech Broly will be back on this banner. He's obviously still very, very good. The Gammas from the 9th anniversary Carnival banner. So the opposite for them is the physical Gogeta. Then we have Sword of Hope Trunks from the Future Saga Worldwide. His counterpart is, of course, the SCR Future Gohan, who can still be pretty good. The Int Kid Gohan, his counterpart is the AGL Kai Goku. We've got Metal Cooler, so his counterpart is the Birdku. Tech Great Ape Vegeta, his counterpart is the STR Kaioken Goku. And then the last 2 slots are where it gets a little bit more questionable, because of course this Janemba was a Tanabata Part 2 LR that released after the Tech Gogeta, but Tech Gogeta is a Dokkan Fest LR, so he obviously will not be on this Carnival banner. And then you've got the Krillin and Gohan from the Namek Saga. I guess they were released along with the Int Vegeta, so he could be the one that fills their spot on the banner. His EZA was okay, but obviously the Namek team is in a bit of a state of disrepair at the moment, not with great buffs, especially with these EZAs for Frieza and Goku. But Tech Broly coming back for the first time, obviously he is still very, very good. Mine is only 55% and is still very strong defensively in all of the endgame content. So definitely looking forward to getting some extra copies for this guy. You can throw him on. He's got no restrictions for his passive or anything. So you can throw him onto any of the teams that he's on and he'll be a very good slot 1 defensive unit. So he's definitely a top pickup as well for a lot of people, especially when it comes to like Carnival coins. When it comes to Carnival LRs, this guy obviously is probably one of the best. Then we've got the physical Gogeta. He, of course, is a little bit outdated at this point, I think. He has guard for the first couple of turns, which is useful. And then when he transforms into Blue Gogeta, in the difficult content now, he kind of just does become a dodge or die character. Now, he does have a 70% chance to dodge, but we all know, like, you know, the lifelong, ever since 6th year, I guess, UI Goku memes of, like, 70% dodge, still failing you in those clutch moments where you really need it. But Obviously, he can still be very useful. He has the active skill that you can use from the next turn after you transform, which, as long as the event doesn't disable dodge, is still probably the best target ability in the game, because all of the attacks go onto him for the turn and he literally can't take any damage. So he's still worth getting the extra copies of if you don't have. Like, if you do a summon on the banner, or do like 1/3+1 rotation, and you get this guy, it's definitely not like a bad pull, right? So he's still a solid unit. Then we have the Future Gohan. Future Gohan can still be relatively good on some teams. He doesn't have a 220 lead yet because he's not on Earth Protecting Heroes. But I think with a 220 lead, he could probably still see some use. I think it was like when the physical trio came out and gave him another 200% lead and obviously a lot of extra defensive support, he went back to being a solid option for the endgame events. So if one of the part 2 units is giving him a 220 lead, I think he could still be fairly useful. Then we have this guy. I feel like he's kind of outdated already, right? He's from the 8-year part 2. I guess we'll have to wait until next anniversary when he gets his EZA. He can counter Ki Blast super attacks, and he does survive KO attacks, but I mean that mechanic is pretty terrible. He has guard for 6 turns as well, so after that you want to make sure you've stacked up quite a lot. I mean, I guess for the shorter events he could be okay, but to be fair, actually, he needs to get a bit of build up. So the short event we have, the Formidable Foes thing, because it hits so hard straight away, he's probably not very good. So he's pretty outdated at this point. Same with the Bird Coup. I mean, this guy has the potential for a great EZA. Obviously, we're only now seeing the Namek Goku and Full Power Frieza, so we probably won't see this guy and Metal Cooler and STR Cooler and those guys EZA for probably another year. But this guy has the potential to make an excellent comeback for sure. A powerful comeback, you could say. But yeah, he's pretty outdated at this point, unfortunately. Same with the Kaioken Goku, but of course, we are expecting his EZA, because we have those 2 slots on the roadmap for Saiyan Saga, and let's be fair, with Vegeta being on the Part 1 banner, it's probably very likely this guy's going to be on the Part 2 banner, and they're going to get their EZAs, so hopefully they will be really good post-EZA. And then, of course, we had those 2 other slots. So we talked about, obviously, the Krillin and Gohan, because they are from the Namek Saga. I guess it does make sense that the Vegeta Goku exchange could be the other unit, I guess, especially because the Carnival LR, the Dokkan Fest LR, I guess, for Gogeta is going to start off as a Vegeta. Having another LR Vegeta featured on the other banner probably makes some sense. When it comes to Janemba, though, I guess he could be replaced by any movie bosses LR, although you have to think that Janemba does have an EZA already. So will it be a yellow coin LR that has an EZA already? When we're looking at some of the extreme options, I'm trying to think of one that would actually be good, that would actually be useful, because like Baby's pretty outdated at this point. Obviously Tech Broly, I guess, is still quite good, and Int Broly's going to be on the Dokkan Fest banner, so Tech Broly being on there would be pretty cool. In terms of other yellow coin LRs, I mean, Int Rose is probably a bit outdated at this point. Cell Max would obviously be very cool, but he doesn't have an EZA. He's a newer LR. He would probably be the best choice to be on the banner in terms of value for players, but maybe Turles with his EZA, he's pretty good on some of these extreme teams still. As a support unit, obviously you don't want him catching these big boss supers, but he can still be pretty good. Broly Trio as well, maybe. Because they can go with the other Brolys. So there's a couple of options potentially for the final space on the team, on the banner. But for the most part, we know there's going to be the counterparts for all these dual like carnival units that we saw from various other celebrations. And of course, the first 2 slots taken up by Frieza and Goku and the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are you most looking forward to with the Part 2 banners? I know some people are excited for the Frieza and Goku. There's a lot of like back and forth about that. I know Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's always a really popular character, and of course Gogeta is as well, right? If Gogeta is anywhere near the level of Vegito, then you know those 2 are going to be the best units in the game by the end of the anniversary. So let me know what your thoughts are on the banners. Where are you planning to summon? Did you get close to pity with your Part 1 summons? I'm very close to having enough pity coins, so I've been saving up my stones for Part 2. The goal is to try and summon just on the Gogeta banner, pull Gogeta, and then use the pity coins to get Vegito. And then if I have any stones left after that, just throw some summons at the part 2 Carnival banner and see if we can get Gohan. So let me know what you guys are planning when it comes to the part 2 summons. The banners should be out around the 15th or the 16th, because I believe the part 2 stream where they will reveal all the details is going to be on the 14th. But in terms of the PST time, it's going to be like very early on the morning of the 15th for me. So but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Which banner are you most looking forward to? Let me know everything down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.